This week's question is about being abandoned by your specific person, so much so that they then abandon you. And that's what's happened in this person's case. Since they asked me the question, the person's actually left them. And I knew that was going to happen because of their incessant questions in my group. And I could see the progression of what was going to happen because of their fears. And now it's manifested and they're surprised. Let's get into it. Welcome to Ask Loz, the video series where I answer your most pressing manifestation question. So in this video, I'm going to talk about something that probably is going to upset this person, okay? Because they don't seem to understand how they've manifested the outcome that has now occurred. Now, since this person won a free video from me a while ago, and I hadn't got around to doing the video, they've since had their person break up with them. And I knew that was going to happen based on not only her form, but the way she was questioning and writing questions in my group, Subconscious Loz Squad. Actually, not the squad. She's not in the squad. My free group. Okay, just Subconscious Loz. I could see her questions. And her questions were full of fear of him leaving, fear of him ignoring her, fear of him not prioritizing her. And so it had no choice but to manifest that this person was going to leave. And now she's written again in my group since asking this question, saying she's shocked by the outcome. I'm not. No one else who read her questions would be shocked by the outcome. So let me get into what her question was. How do I get rid of abandonment issue completely and fear of something may go wrong with my relationships? Well, I told you, didn't I, that all through her questions was a fear that he was going to leave, a fear that something would go wrong. Yeah, the fear has now manifested. That's how this works, guys. A lot of you don't get this. My fear has come upon me. That's what that means in the Bible. Now, I know that sounds biblical, like I'm teaching something religious. I'm not religious. I'm teaching you how this works. Whatever you most dominantly fear will manifest. That's how this shit works. You will manifest whatever you're dominantly thinking, whether good or bad. And unfortunately, this person's negative thinking was so predominant in their mind, it has now manifested. So they shouldn't be surprised. They should go, wow, look how fucking powerful I am. I have literally manifested my own fears. Fuck me. I'm like a witch. We're not witches, guys. We're literally manifesting everything, including our fears. And a lot of the time, you manifest your fears a lot easier and quicker because they're most dominant in your mind. Okay? Let me read the rest of this question. How to get my boyfriend to be fully here for me? Well, unfortunately, she's got such a massive fear that he won't be there for her. He had no choice but to leave. Let me read the rest. I manifested a lot of long distance relationships in the past. Well, if you've got a fear of abandonment, you'll literally manifest a person not even being in the same state or country as you. You'll manifest long distance. Okay, that's how this works. And we didn't see each other often. I have a boyfriend now. He is good, but very busy. We don't see each other often. I know, because you kept writing in every one of your questions in the group, he doesn't see me often, he doesn't prioritize me, his job is more important. You were literally making manifest your own fears. You were writing it down and questioning it and fearing it, and then it came true. You kept ruminating on it and talking about it and questioning about it in the group. Guys, if you repeat the old story, even in manifestation groups, you are literally going to manifest that. I'm sorry to freak out some of you who think you can go into manifestation groups and vent and moan and be a victim of your circumstances and regurgitate all your shitty circumstances or all your fears and then expect them not to manifest. You will manifest the thing you most dominantly are thinking. If you are dominantly thinking they're going to leave, if you're dominantly thinking they're ignoring you, if you dominantly think they're going to not prioritize you because of their work, that's what will fucking happen. So don't be shocked, darling. Don't be shocked. You did this. Now you can change it. So I don't want to scare you. I'm just trying to show you how you actually manifested this because you're not getting it. I don't know if you've not watched enough of my content or if you have done my courses and then not really listened, or you've done my love course now and been so triggered by it that you're not really hearing what I say in the course. So I'll read your other question as well, because I've read your other question about the breakup and doing my love course, and there's a lot I need to unpack in that. So I'm kind of giving you double advice here. I'm actually answering two questions, okay? Even though we live, he's very busy. We don't see each other often, even though we live in the same city. It's still my abandonment issue that creates this. So at least she knows it's her abandonment issue that's creating this separation between them, or him not prioritizing her. So I'm glad she's realized that and she's recognized that and she's owning that. I don't feel prioritized. I want to marry. Well, if you've got a real dominant story that you need to marry them or marriage is really important and you're kind of clinging to the idea of marriage, that will certainly push them away too, because you're fearing them abandoning you, but you really want to marry them. So you're doing clinging and pushing them away with your thinking at the same time, which is real healthy. Okay. Now let's get into her childhood. My dad was a pilot and didn't stay home much. Ta-da, there's the abandonment stuff. So the person doesn't need to actually die or literally not be there. They can be away for work. Now, what is she saying her boyfriend is prioritizing over her? Work. Excuse my cat. My mum was a working woman. So she had two parents who worked a lot and weren't there for her. And she's surprised that she's manifested into her reality an SP who's not prioritizing her, but prioritizing his work. I feel their love, but they didn't really show up for me in person, especially my dad. It's like textbook, guys. When you look at your relationships, look back at your childhood. Is it textbook what your parents did to you? They weren't there for you. They didn't prioritize you. They didn't give you time and attention. Oh my God, is that happening in my relationship? Holy shit. Especially my dad. My best relationship was 6 years ago with my ex who wanted to marry me, but we fronted long distance, so I decided to end it. I still feel guilty. But we fronted long distance. I don't know what that means. I guess she didn't like the long distance, kept freaking her out or worrying her, and so she split up with him because she couldn't handle it. That's probably most likely, even though he wanted to marry her. So this girl has done my self-concept course, and then she's really done the more deep course, the more advanced course, which is my love course, and then she's completely flipped out when she's done the love course. This is what she wrote. I did the worthy as fuck for love course. I know my core issue, and I felt triggered so much when I got through the course. So a lot of people do, guys. A lot of people stop the course, even the self-concept course, and cry so much they have to stop, because I'm bringing up your triggers. I'm presenting you with what the problem is. That's the point of my assessment, and then telling you about your assessment scores and then what you need to do about it. A lot of you get very triggered by my courses. That's the point. We're meant to be uncovering your deep, dark, hidden subconscious triggers and then bringing them to the light so you can fix them. A lot of you don't want to fix them. A lot of you don't want to feel the feelings that come up in my courses. That's the fucking point, guys. The reason why it's triggering you so much is you are so overcome by the fear of them leaving. The course itself triggered you because you thought, oh my God, this is me. Yes, I get this triggered. Yes, I get triggered that they will leave me or abandon me or not prioritize me. Yes, this is me. Oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? But the thing is, darling, you're getting so worried and so stressed about your situation that you're literally in a panic mode, almost like fight or flight all the time. You were even doing it by reminding me constantly, and it was starting to piss me off. Let me give you the tip, that I hadn't done your video yet. And I said to my assistant, if she's annoying me this much, imagine how much she annoys her specific person. And I know that sounds really awful, but you've got to understand this. How you guys show up for me in questions and in lives is how you'll show up for your specific person when you're in a desperate, needy state. And you're in the desperate, needy state of getting me to answer this video for you. So even though I've delayed in answering your prize-winning video, okay, I hope you understand that you're actually going to learn something now from the way this is all manifested. Because the way you've acted with me has shown me something about you that wouldn't have been shown had I answered it straight away, right? Similar when I did some coaching recently with somebody, and what happened? Something happened where they didn't get something on time, or they didn't get a notification, and they freaked out. And their freak out to my assistant and their endless emails showed me something about them that actually was like an eye-opening moment in their coaching. So it was good that it turned out that way, even though it seemed negative. So I want you to understand that, okay, he split up with you. That was going to happen. Based on what I read and based on your freakouts in my group, I'm really sorry, that was inevitable. Now what? Now what? Now we need to fix it. Now, the problem with what you've written here in my group and this last question you wrote is you're expecting miracles from my course. Darling, I'm not a miracle worker. I don't give you the magic bean. I don't give you the golden ticket to the answer. I'm giving you the work to do. This is work to do. So I don't know how old you are, but I can assume if you're in your 20s, you've had 20 years of this abandonment thinking. This is something you don't change overnight. Manifestation isn't magic, and you appear to be coming to my group in this desperate, needy energy expecting magic answers. You're expecting a magic answer even from me in this video. You were freaking out because you didn't get your magic answer in time. Right? You're understanding this? So because you're expecting magic, that also tells me you're panicked. And the panic is showing up in the way you present yourself to your SP. And I'm sure you're doing it like this. The way you wrote today or yesterday, reminding my head of my group that I hadn't done your video yet. You said, I still haven't got my video. Smiley emoji. Laughing. Do you do that to your SP? Why aren't you paying attention to me? Smiley face. Right? Guys, a lot of you disguise your triggers and disguise your fears with funny emojis. Your SP can sniff it out. They read right through your funny emojis, guys. They read right through your insecurities. They're not dumb. Guys aren't stupid. You guys all think guys are stupid. They can read your desperation and your neediness in your fucking emojis. Okay? So you know, excuse the cat, but I'm answering. I'm in the flow. So I'm going to let the cat jump all over the chair. Okay? So let me read the rest of this question because there's a lot to unpack here. Okay, so you believe that the course would help you. I believe it will help me have a better relationship with my boyfriend. I have a boyfriend. We dated for less than a year who likes me so much, and I hoped it progressed to love. But he has no time for me. Now, this is the problem. You kept affirming in your question, he has no time for me. You kept saying it. You're affirming it. A lot of you aren't realizing that what you're writing in questions, what you keep thinking, what you keep fearing is an affirmation. Some of you are thinking it's some magic woo-woo thing you put in your brain. You say it a lot. He loves me. I'm prioritized. Blah, 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 blah. It's what you're saying now. It's what you're thinking as true. So you're thinking as true, he has no time for me. It is my abandonment issue that still projects out. No shit. I tried very hard to throw away this story. No, you haven't. Just after a week, I took this course. I feel so triggered so much that he won't meet me again, blah, blah. I affirm against it. I am always chosen. People are always there with me. I'm the one I'm always shown up for. He broke up with me. Well, I'm not surprised. And I'm really sorry that sounds harsh, but based on what I read, not surprised. Said, I didn't do anything wrong. He is too tired of his job and has no time to think about a relationship. Now, you kept saying he's not prioritizing you. He doesn't have time for me. And you just said, he just regurgitated exactly what you thought. You wrote, he doesn't have time for me. And then he wrote, the guys, they regurgitate what you're thinking, okay? Don't be shocked by what he said. He's regurgitating your thinking. He said he is too tired of his job. So he's so tired of his job, meaning, and I know you're writing here is like broken English, that he's tired of his job, meaning he's got no time for you because he's only got time for his job. That's what you thought. He has no time for me. You understanding this? He's literally just regurgitated your fear. He has no time for me. He said, I've not got no time for you. I've only got time for my job. So don't be shocked. You thought that already. You were affirming it. You were affirming it a lot in my group, in the questions, in your head, over and over again. He doesn't have time for me. Why doesn't he have time for me? Affirmation. You affirmed that brilliantly. You manifested that fucking brilliantly. Now, you're probably getting upset with me saying this, but you guys have got to understand. An affirmation is a repeated thought that you think a lot as true. You were thinking a lot as true that he didn't have time for you, and ta-da, now he doesn't have time for you and he split up with you. You manifested that. So don't be shocked by what he said. Now you know you did that. You can change it because you know he's only regurgitating your biggest fucking fear. Isn't he, darling? He just said it. So don't take it to heart. Don't even believe it. You caused that. Now, it's not blame. It's not flagellating yourself for doing something wrong. I just need you to understand and see what you've done here. Right? Didn't have a feeling to meet me. So you had a feeling he didn't want to meet you. You had a feeling it wasn't progressing to love. You had a feeling he didn't want to be there with you. And then he said it. I was shocked. Well, I don't know why. At first, I decided not to ask in this because I want to revise the situation like nothing ever happened. Well, darling, you can, look, guys, you can trick yourselves all you like and not ask the question in my group. But I'm telling you, you're thinking it anyway. So not asking it, not going to make much difference. You're all thinking it. It's what you're thinking that matters, not what you're writing in my group. Okay? I know I'm saying don't keep repeating the old story in my group, but you're thinking it anyway. So it doesn't really matter. But I just want to get out of this cycle so much. As Loz says, just affirm and think new thoughts. I don't say just affirm and think new thoughts. You're thinking I'm teaching magic. I don't say just do anything, darling. You need to open your fucking ears. I don't say just do shit. You think this is magic and this is where you're going really wrong. It sounds easy. Who said it was easy? I never said this was fucking easy. You're not listening to me. I did that all the time I could do. No, you didn't, because the rest of the time you were doing that, you were still fearing. You were still having all the fearful thoughts. I saw them in the group. So you're full of shit. How come my fear is still there and it manifests? Because you were more dominantly thinking the fearful thoughts. You weren't getting a handle on your fears. You weren't getting a handle on your anxiety. You were allowing your fears to run you. That's why, darling. You've got to understand your anxiety, your fight or flight response is so fucking strong that you literally made manifest your own relationship breakdown. Now you're saying, how did I do that? You did it with your fears. Your fears were that fucking strong. Have you gone and done breath work or EFT tapping or guided meditations or Ho'oponopono prayer or anything to chill yourself the fuck out? I don't think you have. And I think your brain is in like a catatonic state of worry and you're not doing anything about it. You're thinking the affirmation is just going to make that go away. Sometimes, guys, some of you are so fearful, you're going to have to kind of go and do some emotional regulation work before you can even affirm. Because a lot of you, the affirmations isn't working because you're so freaked out, you're going to need to go chill out first. Have you done that? Some of you haven't. Have you used my anti-anxiety meditation? Clearly you haven't. You should be using that fucking thing every damn day. You should be using the affirmations in that to calm yourself down before you even think about affirming about your SP. But at the moment, I bet you what you were doing was affirming about him, affirming about your self-concept. I am loved, I am chosen, I am this, I am that, from a state of complete panic. And all you're going to manifest is more panic because you were panicked while you were doing it. A lot of you need to regulate yourselves first if you're this freaked out. And you aren't. And then you're manifesting your fears. And then you're wondering why. Why do you think I have an anti-anxiety meditation, guys? I don't have it there for fun. How come my fear is still there and manifest? Well, I've just explained that to you. I feel scared of my hidden fear. It's like affirmations do nothing. Yeah, your affirmations are doing nothing because your fear is running you, darling, and you're allowing it to tsunami over you like a huge wave crashing over you every day, and you're just letting it run you, and you're surprised at any of the outcomes. Guys, some of you really are thinking that what I teach you is a magic bean technique. None of this is magic. It is a case of assessing what you think dominantly. And a lot of you are dominantly thinking a whole lot of shit and then changing it. But the changing of it might take a little while. And this isn't magic. And just because you did my Worthy as Fuck for Love course and did my self-concept course doesn't mean you've got the magic bean now and just being it suddenly in a week, it's all going to go away. Some of you might take months. Some of you might take a year. I'm sorry to scare the living shit out of you, but some of you have got such old, shitty thinking that you think this is going to go away magically, and that's where a lot of you go wrong. I don't get engagements in my group at a record level because I allow people to think this is magic. I just had another engagement yesterday from someone I did coaching with originally. That's the second engagement in 2 weeks from people I did coaching with who really, really, really did the work. Now, when I say do the work, I don't mean obsessively thinking about your SP and trying to change the situation. That's what you were doing, darling. You weren't changing you enough. And if you really, really are honest with yourself, you'll know that you weren't. You'll know that you were trying to get an outcome from him. You were trying to get contact from him, time with him, be chosen by him, instead of deciding you were chosen, instead of quelling your fears, instead of getting on top of your anxiety, instead of constantly ruminating about your fearful thoughts. You weren't changing you for you. You were changing you for him. And you're expecting magic. So what I want you to do is really get a handle on that shitty, fearful thinking. And then I want you to go and revise your whole childhood if you can, because that is the problem here. Your dad not being there for you, your mum being a workaholic mum as well, and neither of them giving you the time and attention you needed is the problem here. Go back and revise your childhood rather than revising your relationships, because that's the problem. You've got a dominant story that the people you love won't be there for you, that's what love looks like. And until you revise that or think of yourself differently now, it's going to turn up that way because your brain has correlated love with distance, love with fearful thoughts about them not being there, love with them not physically being there, love with them prioritizing work over you. So until you change that, nothing's going to change. I want you to go and revise your childhood. Write letters to your parents about how that made you feel and then revise the whole fucking thing if you can. Imagine they were always there for you. Imagine they always gave you the time. Imagine they always gave you all the cuddles and affection you needed. Imagine they were never away at work all the time. Imagine your dad wasn't a pilot and he was there every night, putting dinner on the table and sitting there next to you, helping you with your homework. Imagine that if you can. Revise that if you can. If you can't, then just simply write letters to them explaining how that made you feel, and you're going to step out of that state and be in the new state of you who doesn't allow those fearful thoughts to overrun you like a tsunami anymore. Then I want you to emotionally regulate. I want you to use anything you can. My anti-anxiety meditation on my YouTube, the Ho'oponopono prayer, using forgiveness, and that's forgiving your parents and yourself and your SP and whoever else hurt you. Using any emotional regulation technique you can find, like EFT tapping. EFT, tap it out. I don't allow my feelings to run me. I am in control of the feelings I feel. I do not feel anxious anymore. I am in control of exactly how I feel at every moment of the day. Tap, tap, tap. Whatever you can do to stop yourself spiraling when you're spiraling. Even in my course, you were spiraling. Have you gone to see a psychologist about your extreme anxiety? Your extreme fearful thinking, darling? Because somehow you're thinking that just affirming a few times is going to magic away your anxiety. But your anxiety is part of the problem here. Your fearful, really fearful thoughts are part of the problem here. And you're allowing yourself to get caught up in this tsunami spiral and then expecting that just saying affirmations are going to get you out of that. You've got to get yourself out of that first. Make sense? Because this isn't magic. This is changing your thinking, but it's very hard to change your thinking when you're fully spiraling. Deal with that first, okay? Then I want you to see you and your SP together, and I want you to understand that everything you said was literally your fears made manifest. I told you what you said and then what he said. So all you need to know is what he said was what you thought. So don't take it to heart. Don't believe it. Change the story. Change what he said. Or imagine him coming back to you and saying, I wish I'd never said that. I don't know what was coming over me. I don't know why I even said it. You know why he said it. You thought it. And then see you and him together and work really hard on the abandonment stuff from my course. And if you can, go back and watch Worthy as Fuck for Love again. Really listen this time without being triggered. Really listen to learn. And then really do the abandonment sleep tape at the end and do that every fucking night and use the affirmations from that religiously. From your love mode that showed up the most. Okay, darling? And I promise you, if you can get a handle on your fears, everything will work out with him. But you've got to do this for you first, regulate you first, and change that fearful thinking that people are going to leave you. If they love you, they'll stay. But you've got to believe that you can handle your fears first, because your fears are running you. And I'm sorry if I was really harsh, but I really wanted to get through to you. And I hope that the delay in this video has actually helped you to understand how you freaking out is not helping you and is actually manifesting a whole lot of shit you don't want. Okay? So guys, if you want your video answered, this was a prize winning video, but if you want your video answered, you can book one on my website, Subconscious Loz. In the Ask Loz section, you fill out the form with your question, a little bit more about the question itself, a little bit more about your childhood. Tell me if you've done my love course, my self-concept course, and if you're in the squad, and you tell me about your love modes and your fears, so I have more information to answer your question correctly. All right, guys, I hope that helped, and you can come and join the squad where people do answer your questions very well in the Q&A forum, because everyone there is educated on what I teach, and a lot of them have done my courses. Hope that helped, guys. See you soon.